folks, this is Rainiac, welcoming you to week 2 of the SoftwarePeopleSexy.net Let's Play Olympics 2, The Confusing Return to Numbers. And this week's game, as you can see slowly being spelled out on the screen in front of you, is Alex Kidd. Specifically, Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, a game made by Sega for their own Genesis console in 1989. Now, Alex Kidd is a bit of a strange game. It's set on the planet Paperrock, and no, that's not a typo, and unsurprisingly, all the inhabitants of Paperrock are obsessed with rock, paper, scissors. But this is a bit more of a dangerous game of rock, paper, scissors, because instead of just playing for pride, the loser of the game gets an anvil dropped on their head in typical Looney Tunes Acme fashion, as you see here. Winning that game allowed us to pick up a power bruiser. There are 7 items in the game, accessed via your infantry, and I'm going to be showing you all but one of them throughout the course of this 15-minute video. Here we picked up the power bracelet, which is a very handy item. It allows you to shoot this yellow shockwave projectile every time you press the attack button, which is the B button, A and C jump. You also shoot up the shockwave whenever you jump, which sounds useful but can sometimes lead you to destroying platforms and actually making life a little more difficult for yourself. Now, the end of the level was actually that rice ball all the way over to the right, so this is a very short level if you choose not to explore it. But I'm choosing to explore it for obvious reasons, because that's kind of the goal of an LP, at least in my opinion. Here, this shopkeeper bets you $100 that you can't beat him in a game of rock, paper, scissors. And the joke's on him, because you easily can. The thing about the shopkeepers is they're pretty dumb when it comes to rock, paper, scissors, but this will be explained in a bit more detail a little later on. Down here is a not so obvious secret passageway, and I'm totally not being sarcastic. You've just got to jump with the power base at a crit, and the floor will buckle and give you access to the secret area, where for some reason these Chinese Jiangxi hopping zombies reside, and I don't think they appear anywhere else in the game. And we use our nifty little poker stick that we obtained here to open up a little bit of a secret passageway to get back to the outside world. But I'll be using that a little bit later on, because there's still a few more secrets to show down here. You can also punch blocks, or certain blocks, to kill enemies, which is actually more satisfying than just hitting them outright with the shockwave. Red chests will always contain money. Green chests will contain either extra life, as you see there, an item in some very rare circumstances, or sometimes a nasty surprise such as bombs. And you see the bombs from about stage 4 onwards, and trust me, that's kind of a dick move. I can say that now without being Dr. Point. Speaking of achievements this week, I'm not going to dwell on them too much, but the minus points, rock, paper, scissors is given a different name in this game, and I cannot tell you what it is, because if I do, I'll get Dr. Point. And the other minus points I'll mention when we get up to the parts where you'll be dropped the point. Achievements this week will be mentioned as we come to them. This is, as I said, quite a strange little game. I actually own this game, but didn't originally realise that I did. And more on that in just a moment. The second level is the Prairie, and straight away we murder this poor Prairie that just pops his head up to say hello by shooting a crescent wave directly into his face. Now this shopkeeper offers you a motorbike for beating him in a game of rock, paper, scissors. And the thing with the shopkeepers is I found that they always go for typically the same option. This guy will always go for rock, followed by scissors. Occasionally he'll just go for scissors straight off, so for this particular shopkeeper, you always want to pick rock. Other shopkeepers will have their own preferences as to whether they pick rock, paper, or scissors. A couple of them, however, in some of the practices and recorded tapes that you didn't get to see here, switched up on me because they were bastards like that. And the motorbike you see there is a really handy item. It allows you to plough through anything. You're basically invincible until you hit a non-breakable block. In this level, for example, the blue blocks are breakable, the orange blocks are not. And getting the poker stick out here to show just how awful it is at controlling. Really, it's so damn unresponsive. You can hold down the jump button to jump higher, but honestly, unless there is an enemy that you need to jump on that you can't jump on otherwise, I would recommend, or you want to get to say a secret area, I would recommend not using the poker stick wherever possible. And these headshots, as you might be able to guess yourself, if you jump on them with a poker stick, you'll die. Another extra life up there. The strange thing about items in this game, they make the game a lot easier, but if you die, you actually lose the item you had equipped. If you die with no items equipped, you don't lose any of them. And the prairie dogs are actually not really enemies. You can die just by running into them headlong, but you can actually stand up their heads as you saw there, and it's kind of useful for taking out that buzzard. because that's another achievement for this week. We have to kill every airborne enemy that we see. Now here is another achievement. This is the Pedicopter. And we need to pick up this Pedicopter in order to get our second achievement. Now this shopkeeper will almost always go for paper or rock. He hardly ever goes for scissors. So I just hit him with 3 consecutive papers. He got crushed by the obligatory falling weight. And we've got our Pedicopter. And on to stage 3, which is the nicely titled Splashy Sea. Now that we've got the Pedicopter, we are able to fly and also shoot an unlimited supply of missiles. This might sound like a very, very good item to have. Unfortunately, it's kind of let down by the way it controls. You have to constantly press the jump button to hover, and also if you touch the water or a wall or an enemy, you will lose it. Shooting these turtles here because they technically count as airborne enemies, even though this one is in the sea. Now I eventually cottoned onto this and decided to discard my Pedicopter, as you see here, dive into the sea, and shoot the turtle in the face with a crescent wave. I didn't actually mean to go into this shop. That item is just a cane that allows you to walk on the air. Sounds kind of impressive, but it's the one item I didn't really have much use for at all during the game. The motorbike wasn't useful for this particular run because of the added stipulation I set for myself to try and kill every airborne enemy I saw, to try and get the achievement point, but I have seen some absolutely insane runs of this game using the motorbike. We have a mini-boss, or a secret here, this octopus. You can shoot the individual segments of his arm off, but a much quicker way to kill him is to just shoot underneath the lowest segment, and he blows up and gives you 100 money. And he also opens up this shop where you can get yourself a cape. It's not going to grant you invincibility like in Harry Potter, and this guy will always go for scissors, so no worries there. The cape actually grants you about 20 seconds of invincibility. It can be kind of useful. I didn't know this turtle counted as an airborne enemy, but I just shot him in the face anyway because I kind of felt like it. And these giant fish, as you saw earlier, take 3 hits to kill, and they will give you 100 money for defeating them. I don't really know why I went back to get all the money in these chests. Money isn't useful for buying items, but if you're a decent player of this game and you don't die too often, you can get through the game only getting 5, maybe 6 items total, and there's even items that you can get for free in certain levels, making it even easier. Level 4 then, the Scorpion Desert, and this is where the game gets slightly trickier. We have scorpions to avoid, giving it its name, but we have a much deadlier enemy in antlions. These things are insta-kill. In fact, anything in Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle will kill you instantly if you touch it, unless you have the motorbike or the Pedicopter equipped, or of course the invincibility. You can also push these blocks to kill enemies. It's kind of an alternative to shooting them or punching them. I could have de-equipped the power brace, I suppose, but it's so much easier to just punch and send waves of death flying everywhere. Also, why is it that nearly every desert level in these type of games have to contain antlions? I hate them. Not in real life, obviously, because I've never encountered an antlion in real life, and if I did, I'd probably be killed by it instantly. We have a little bit of a puzzle here, but unfortunately I was kind of an idiot and wrecked the puzzle. Except not, because the puzzle's right here. That's what you get for doing this kind of on the fly with commentary. What you've got to do here is clear out these blocks and that buzzard, and then I would recommend that you de-equip the power bracelet. Then what you're going to do is punch these blocks and run forward with it. This will give you a stepping stone so you can avoid the antlion. You can also use the pogo stick, for some reason that actually kills the antlions rather than killing you. Or if you have it still from level 3 and you haven't wasted it, you can just use the Pedicopter. Now you may never have heard of Alex Kidd, but he's actually been in quite a few games. He originated in a game called Alex Kidd in Miracle World, which was actually way back on the Sega Master System in 1986. Since then he went to star in titles such as Alex Kidd The Lost Stars, Alex Kidd in the BMX Trial, and of course Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, the game we're playing right now. Level 5 is the Pyramid, and things get even more tricksy. First of all, there is a handy little secret that you can nab here. It's actually an extra life. But you're about to have a good old laugh at my expense because I was kind of an idiot and squandered it. What you're supposed to do is punch these blocks out of the way. Unfortunately, these bouncy blocks made that kind of difficult. I punched the extra life chest too soon, and as a result, I got caught up on the bouncy blocks and it disappeared, and I felt like a right idiot. Going back to the history of the Alex Kidd series, he also appeared in a game called High Tech World, which was on the Master System, and there's a free item that you don't actually have to buy. That is a pendant, and that is extremely useful for the end of this stage. And again, showing off just how useless the pogo stick is. As I say, it has its applications, but because of its bad control for the most part, extremely loose control anyway, it's not that great except for situations where you're required to use it. Although it did allow me to skip a large part of the pyramid, so I suppose I'm grateful for that. Now, it looks like our path to the pyramid is assured, but unfortunately, this woman is blocking the way. She claims to be Queen of the Oasis, but that's nonsense because they have their greatest hits. And she will change into a game of course, rock, paper, scissors. Now, my experience with playing against the Queen, in all my practices, I had a surefire strategy for beating her. Unfortunately, she cheated here and decided to change her pattern. I found that if you switch on to scissors and the last 3 seconds before your symbol is revealed, she will always pick paper and you will win. Unfortunately, for this take, the Queen decided to troll me. So feeling annoyed by this trolling, I decided I'd go back and get the extra life that I missed. Only to be trolled a second time. Because watch this for a piece of nastiness. Seriously. We talked about dip moves, and this right there is a dip move. Bombs. Which very really exploded in my face and killed me for a second time. And I do get annoyed when you get stuck on those goddamn bouncy blocks. What's the point of them being there? Are they there to just be a hindrance? I guess. Going back to the history of Alex Kidd, his last mainstream appearance was in a game called Alex Kidd in Shinobi World. And this was kind of unfortunately another pendant that's replaced the one I lost. The pendant will randomly appear in one of these 4 green chests. It's usually in the left one there of those 2, but it can be in the one that contains the extra life, or it can be on the one above the one that contains the extra life. Alex Kidd in Shinobi World, which was kind of a cartoon parody of Shinobi, in much the same vein that Kid Dracula is a cartoon parody of Castlevania. We're coming to the Queen again, and this pendant, by the way, if you couldn't work it out, allows you to see what your opponent is going to pick. Now here, I realised that the Queen was going to be tricky, so I just had to be even trickier and just stay with rock. And the Queen was an idiot and immediately switched right into scissors. If you beat her the first time, you can actually play her again. If you just press no, she'll get crushed by the anvil and you win. But our third achievement this week is to beat her 2 straight rounds. And as you'll see in a moment, this is exactly what I did. She gets crushed by an anvil. She's so surprised she can't spell the word believe properly. She thought she was going to live forever, but she was wrong. My advice to her, don't look back in anger. And you might be very surprised to learn, for those of you that have never played this game before, that we're actually over halfway through the game. There are only 11 levels in this game, the forest of course being the 6th. After that we have Tropics Town, which is basically just a copy of Rookie Town, the very first level of the game. Then Rocky Mountains 1 and 2, the only stages to get a numerical denomination. Try saying that when you're drunk. Then a Sky Chase style flying level, and finally the Enchanted Castle of the title, where you fight the final boss, Ashra, the 6-armed beast that looks like Etamon from Digimon. And that's not a spoiler, because he's on the freaking game cover. Enemies in this stage include bees, which are kind of annoying to hit and make the achievement of trying to kill all the airborne enemies on the screen that much more difficult. Baboons, which come down and try and moon at you, and that one very, very nearly killed me. And these Jason wannabes who, in absence of finding kids to murder at Camp Crystal Lake, decided they're going to chop down trees instead. Now the invisibility cape is the last item I show off here. As I've just said, it grants invincibility. Kind of stupid to use it here though, because it does not protect you against lava pits or any other instant killers like spikes or being crushed to death. I didn't show off the motorbike, unfortunately, much during this playthrough, but it is a ridiculously useful item in the right hands. I have seen 2 or 6 speedrunners use it to beat this game in under 10 minutes, which is just incredible. And completing the Alex Kidd history lesson quickly, he made a brief appearance as a cameo character in the Japan-only 2-1 Dreamcast game Sega Gaga, where he ran a good video game store, and he was also a playable character in Sega Superstar Racing and Sega All-Star Tennis. I may have got those two titles confused, but you know what I'm talking about. We're coming up to our second boss, which is why I equip the pendant here. If anyone cares, that's a bear. A bear wearing shorts and a tank top for some crazy reason. And so surprised was he to learn this piece of information that Freezing Phone decided to message me on Steam. Unfortunately, I couldn't beat the bear. We ended in a stalemate, and then the time limit ran out. But that's all for Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle. Join me next time for what may or may not be a puzzle game for week 3. Joyous. Till then, TTFN.